wrestling fans, welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where two wrestling elitists discuss or review AEW events and wrestling news from around the world. At One Wing Wrestling, our motto is, we go where the elite go. I'm your host, Krishna and joining me today is Mr. Bill Cubbush. Bill, how's it going?
Hello there. And as you all probably know by now, what we do here on One Wing Wrestling is provide thoughts and expectations for the coming event, which is almost always AEW Dynamite. What we hope for, what might be good, what might be bad, potential match of the night. Then we go watch the show and come back, see if those expectations were met or exceeded, and most importantly, is anything on the show able to reach that all-important Omega level?
And Bill, I always have to ask, can anything without Kenny Omega, even knowing he's coming back, can anything ever reach that Omega level status?
Well, didn't you give a match just a couple weeks ago? Like you're
I
like
did.
that match was at the
I
Omega
did.
level, so I'm gonna have to say that
Potentially.
in fact, yes, something can reach the Omega level without Kenny Omega because I'm pretty sure you called something at the
I
Omega
did.
level. So yes, yes. Other than that, yeah, everything's going well. Not much has changed since Monday, so good times.
So I think we have a lot to talk about, especially at the beginning of this podcast today. So let's jump in. Let's jump into keeping up with the elite.
Let's do that.
Perfect. So first up, the ongoing feud with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. So last week's podcast, I mentioned that Will Ospreay during a match at Rev Pro had pulled off the one wing angel, but mockingly before the 3 count, just grabbed his opponent's arm and pulled it up in the air. So he kicked out and he kind of laughed at Kenny Omega, kind of mocked him a bit. Well, Will then went ahead and he actually had a t-shirt made. Now the t-shirt was a double-sided t-shirt, and it was, the front said Billy the Wanker, which I think apparently is his new nickname now for some odd reason.
Sure, he's British. Sure, why not?
And at the back it said better than the best bout machine, and had a picture of Will Ospreay hitting the one wing angel. Now, what then happened was AEW and Kenny Omega got involved. I think the t-shirt was on sale for maybe a couple hours, maybe a couple hours.
Wrestling tees.
Yeah, on Pro Wrestling Tees. And then a cease and desist letter was sent to Will Ospreay and company. And Kenny responded and he said this. So I'm just reading off exactly what he said. He said this triggered various legal concerns within AEW. Sincere apologies to all fans of Will. We've made it so that all orders up to today will be honored. So just saying that, any new orders will be canceled, but anything that was ordered today will be honored. This is apparently not the first time imaginary cease and desist letters have been sent out. Apparently the Bucks had claimed that WWE had sent them a cease and desist for using the Too Sweet sign.
Yes.
Now, Will Ospreay responded to this via Twitter.
He did.
And luckily it was captured, and I'm going to read out what Will Ospreay had to say. So he said, I've just exposed Kenny Omega as an insecure little biatch. It was fine when those guys were throwing the Too Sweet sign and got hit with a cease and desist. They continued to poke the bear. When it's me doing it to you guys have a problem with it. It's because Kenny's a miserable little something. I'm doing the things he's done plus more. It continues.
Yep.
You're also pissed off because the vision you had for AEW has now turned into something you don't like, and people are starting to get that NXT vibes about that joint. And maybe it's because the Joshi girls are not getting enough TV time. Ouch. She's attacking Kenny all over the place.
Yep.
But the 205 live guys are. Oh, ouch. And if you know anything about Kenny Omega, he's not about pushing 205 in any way. He's all about pushing the Japanese Joshi wrestlers. He says, now the shoe's on the other foot. You've turned into the big boys trying to look down on the little guys. So now he's saying that basically Kenny and crew have become WWE, and they're looking down on everyone else. So this is probably one of the funniest and best works that are happening right now, because we called this how long ago? Like nothing Kenny does is by accident, right? So him saying that Jay White was the best thing that happened to New Japan, like Will Ospreay has all the talents
Mm-hmm.
but he's missing that it factor.
Right.
Come on, you're telling me this wasn't already. So the fact that the seat, like, you know what, this is great. Like the minute I saw that Ospreay had hit the one wing angel,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, something's up here, right?
Yep.
And then obviously t-shirt, now this cease and desist. You're like, wow, could it possibly be that when Kenny comes back, it is going to be the Elite versus Will Ospreay? What does he call himself? He calls himself
United
the
Empire.
United Empire. It's looking more and more like that's the route they're going, and this is fantastic. Any news like this is absolutely amazing. Plus, the picture that you sent over to me yesterday from Kenny's Instagram, in
Yep.
terms of with his Rev Pro, not his Rev Pro,
Rev
with his
Pro.
Red Con t-shirts,
Yeah.
saying, what does it say at the bottom?
It said the highest state of
Of
readiness.
readiness, exactly. And you said Kenny doesn't just simply wear these things, right?
Yep.
So things are looking good in the elite land. Unfortunately, I also listened to Jim Cornette's response to this. I don't know why I do this to myself. You know what? I'm starting to believe I'm a masochist and I just like the punishment. But like everything he says, I'm like, I disagree with it. Every single thing. I'm like, Jim Cornette, do you know what you're talking about? What Cornette said today was that he believes that Kenny Omega, he didn't call him Kenny Omega, and the Bucks, because they wrestle this jumpy kind of not aerobic, he called it kind of like a gymnastics wrestling. They should go to Ring of Honor, and then have only the wrestlers stay on AEW. And I was like, what? Then I would be watching a lot of Ring of Honor, I guess, right? So, anyways, I hate to end it with that stupid comment from Jim Cornette, but thoroughly excited that I like Kenny versus Ospreay. I it's a dream match. I don't even know what else to say.
Well, yeah, the match will be a dream match. I gotta tell you, I kind if like, this whole thing with like a cease and desist order, you know, it rankles me a little because I mean I realize that it's part of the story, but it's like, you know, it really is the underhanded tactic of the people on top, you know. Like the whole thing with the Too Sweet and the Bucks doing it back a while back, that was just ridiculous. And the Bucks rightfully just made fun of it like
Oh yeah.
crazy. They had that whole cease and desist t-shirt that which was one of the best sellers at Pro Wrestling Tees in a long time. Um yeah, so it's just I find it weird that in this situation, Will Ospreay is being made to look like the upstart rebel, right, against this like company guy in Kenny Omega. And because of my own inherent nature, I almost find myself cheering for Will Ospreay.
So here's the thing, right? And Harvey Dent from The Dark Knight put it the best, where he says, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And that's exactly what's happening with the Bucks and Omega. Because you know what? They could bring the Bucks in and Omega back as baby faces. It's going to be kind of boring. And the one thing that AEW does the best out of any company is poke fun at the, I hate to say this, poke fun at the Vince McMahon wrestling business. That's what they do. Think about Chris Jericho. What has he done with we are not professional wrestlers. No, we're not professional wrestlers. We're sports entertainers. Think about
sports entertainers.
Think about that. Like everyone joke, they just make fun of that. Like sports entertainers, really. He's taking it to another level.
Yep.
So the fact that you're right, you're totally right. This is Kenny making Ospreay the biggest thing. And I'm happy for this because I'm like, you're taking my favorite wrestler, putting him against my second favorite wrestler, and they're gonna go to war. Oh, you know what? That is perfect for me. And you know what? We talked about this. It's like the older guys putting over the younger guys, right? It's like WWE they don't do this a lot unless you're a Vince McMahon guy, and we'll get to Vince in a second. But unless you're a Vince McMahon guy, you don't get a push at all, right? You don't get a push. You have to be a certain size, a certain weight class, and everything like that. And if you're not, you're just thrown aside. AEW, New Japan, and every other wrestling, promoter does it the opposite way. If you're good, you're good, right? Yep. And I think Kenny knows that, Ospreay's he's next generation, right? Even though he's not that young, he's a next generation. And I could see not a passing of the torch, but like, hey, you're better than this, and we need to push you to the moon. And I am fully in. Who else? Who else could push you to the moon if not the best bout machine, right?
The belt collector himself.
The belt
Yes.
collector himself. So yeah, we're gonna put a hold on the whole Bucks versus FTR thing. And honestly, after what I heard, if you listened to the podcast last week about Dax Harwood and his daughter and fighting like an 8-year-old girl, at this point, you can't take the belts away from FTR.
I told you that's long-term booking, right? They're gonna hold those belts for a long time. Yeah. And it's fine. The Bucks will get there and they'll get their shot at them.
Yeah,
So yeah, we'll see. It's that one's clearly on hold because they lost the belts anyway, right?
exactly. They
So
lost to the Swerve
yeah, I was very
and
surprised
Igor.
last. Sorry, I wasn't here last week. So
A lot of
so yeah,
news.
I was very surprised last week when the Bucks didn't even show up. You know, Swerve and their glory had their little celebration thing.
Well, I don't know if you saw, and I know we're getting carried away here with the elite, but they're the elite. If you saw being the elite this week, Brandon Cutler couldn't even find them for being the elite. They
Ooh, I
were
watched
missing.
last week's. I haven't seen this
Yeah,
week's
this
yet.
week because it starts off with everyone just saying what, and then Cutler's like, where are the Bucks? They said to meet them here, and they were missing throughout the entire being the elite.
Hmm. That's
Something's
interesting.
up.
Something is
Something's
very
up.
up.
But
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, that bodes interestingly for tonight anyway.
mm-hmm.
I've got a feeling about tonight, right?
Something.
Yeah.
Well, we know
There's like
we'll get to it, but we know
yeah.
things are happening tonight. But
Yeah.
yeah,
There's change in the air all over the place. There's change in AEW and there's change in the WWE.
really, nothing happened in WWE
Oh yeah, you're
recently.
right. Forget it then. Now let's go on to tonight's Dynamite card. Anyway, yeah, there is some news though from some minor news from the WWE side. Not a lot to for us to talk about here tonight, but I thought we'd get into it anyway. Oh, we completely forgot to mention though that the part of the Will Ospreay update before I get into good old Vince, he did defeat El Phantasmo in his G1 opener, and his next match is actually happening tonight. So
Boo. We
I know,
like El
right?
Phantasmo.
I know El Phantasmo's great. You know who's not great? Vince McMahon.
Mm.
So as all of you probably know by now, because this news is now, 5 days ago, and if you haven't, if you're any kind of wrestling fan at all, you know this happened. Vince McMahon retired on Friday, July 22nd. Interestingly, though, the 8K report filed on Monday, which is some of their updated financial statements, I believe. Dave Meltzer noted that his leaving was actually listed as a resignation, not a retirement. Whether or not that was an error, who knows? But anyway, Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan were then named co-CEOs of the company, and on Monday it was announced that Paul Levesque was named the new head of WWE Creative, in addition to the role he was given Friday as the Executive Vice President of Talent Relations. Of note, the writing team is still in place, the one that was there before, and it's still headed up by Bruce Pritchard, but they all just report to Paul Levesque now instead of Vince McMahon. So that's the only change there. Um, the Wall Street Journal also reported that sources said Vince stepped down because the Securities and Exchange Commission and federal prosecutors have launched inquiries into payments made by Mr. McMahon to settle allegations of sexual misconduct. The preliminary financial results showed Vince McMahon having $14.6 million in unrecorded expenses between 2006 and 2022, and the company has received regulatory, investigative, and enforcement inquiries, subpoenas, or demands as a result of these apparent hush money payments. It's worth noting that when Vince left on Friday, WWE stock went up. And there's been some more people seem to be willing to talk about Vince's behavior now as part of the creative team and yelling at announcers in their headsets and that kind of stuff. But overall, that's where we're at now. Vince is gone. I would like to point out that with Triple H stepping into the EVP of Talent Relations, that probably means John Laurinaitis ain't coming back either. Like you said before, you think he's coming back? Well, guess what? I'll repeat what you've said twice this week already, only give it back to you. Krishna was right. So it looks like
Yay.
it looks like John Laurinaitis isn't coming back either. So yeah, big news. I mean, not only is Vince McMahon, the guy who literally changed wrestling in the world, gone,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Triple H, the guy that he seemed in the last year or two to try to push out as best as possible and just destroying the NXT Black and Gold, is back and in
Hmm.
charge.
Hmm.
What do you think?
So this is I hate to say use the term world changing, because I wear a t-shirt all the time, Kenny Omega, that says change the world, and that's what he does with the Bucks. But this is groundbreaking, because Vince McMahon for the past 4 decades has ruled over WWE, WWF, whatever you want to refer to it as. And he's done it with an iron fist. Like, as you said, wrestlers, anyone who can talk now has come out and said, hey, yeah, he wasn't the nicest person to work with. You didn't want to get on his bad side and whatever. Like, but that, what, bosses are like that. Now, obviously, these sexual
Misconduct?
claims, they're terrible. They're terrible. Like $14 million, and what he kind of did is absolutely terrible. So he's gonna get what's coming to him. And if we ever find out what that is, we may not, because again, there was an inquiry filed, stuff like that. There are investigations going on, but whether or not that's going to be released to the public, that's totally different, right? So we may never know. Now, I'm stepping aside from that, and I'm moving over to Triple H now. And you have said this from the beginning, that when Triple H ruled when he managed NXT, the product was like at its best. Like, there were times where, or not times, I should say, like the NXT takeovers, right? Those
Hmm.
were rated higher than almost all of the WWE pay-per-views, all of
Right.
them, right?
Hmm.
And then Vince took over and everything kind of dipped. It became NXT 2.0. It got hypersexualized again, thanks to Vince. Big
Right.
surprise there. And the product has dropped. Like, it basically tried to go up against AEW and lost every single week except for 1 week. That was it, right?
Right.
So I am happy for the wrestlers at WWE. I'm happy for Triple H. What I'm a little concerned about, and here's my concern, of course, because I'm an AEW fanboy. This is what I'm concerned about.
Right.
Think about the wrestlers that left because of Vince McMahon, not because of Triple H, because of Vince McMahon. Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly. Like, I've literally named the undisputed elite, right? Think about it. Triple H is in charge now. If Adam Cole's contract's up, I know he's with his bud, he's with his friends now, but Adam Cole was great on NXT. You can't give him, like, we can't say he wasn't. Him and Gargano going at it, like, those were some pretty, like, awesome matches. I strongly believe that if this had happened a couple of years back, we may have never seen Adam Cole in AEW. Never. No, I would never think Triple H would ever say, hey, Cole, we're going to bring you up to the main roster, but we're going to make you cut your hair and we're going to make you a manager. Because no, Triple H is not stupid like that. Triple H understands, if you're a good wrestler, you're a good wrestler, right? So my thoughts are, with this, with Triple H in charge, with now WWE moving to PG-14 or TV-14, or whatever you like to call it, right? 14 and older. I have a feeling AEW has some serious competition now, like serious, to the point where even I can see I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to watch WWE, but if it starts getting better, I'm going to start watching it. Right now, change doesn't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in one day, right? So it is going to take a while for some things to just, you know, change themselves. But this is great news for WWE. I actually heard a rumor today that Sasha Banks is probably going back to WWE now. Right, so
Yeah.
which makes sense, right? Like, Triple H loves her, like they have such a great working relationship. Now I like that, but I want to end my thought here with, I don't think the Bucks and Kenny are ever going there. And as we said, we go where the elite go, and
Yes.
that's it.
Well, precisely. And I think that okay, my own person. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna give you Tony Khan's response to you because you just said the things that he was responding to on Busted Open Radio today. So I'll get to Tony in a minute. My own thoughts are I'm not that concerned because let's take a step back for a minute. What was AEW like before Adam Cole, before Bryan Danielson, before CM Punk?
Still really good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys, like, think of it, we had the Stu Graysons and the Hybrid 2 and these guys that have gone because there's no room for them anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair enough.
I mean, could we see a resurgence if WWE takes back some of their talents? And you know what? They're welcome to some of them.
Yeah.
I'm not that concerned. Okay, I love Adam Cole, but if he jumps ship, he jumps ship. AEW is AEW.
Fair enough.
But like, I'm not that concerned because I think that the way they're being treated and the way they're being booked, money talks, but money isn't everything to some of these guys. I mean, Kenny's a good example of that, right? Money's not everything to Kenny. Money's not everything to the Bucks. They're artists. Right? They want to work their art the way they want to work their art. They want to be in control of their own thing. There is still a team of writers at WWE. And Bruce Pritchard is not Triple H.
That's
okay?
true. Yep.
And Triple H is just putting the final say on things. He still had his health problems and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Do we really think that he's going to be day-to-day hands-on? Maybe. Is that going to change things a whole lot from how they are now? I think that the one thing we'll probably see more of is logic in the storylines and a few less quick flips on a dime. And I think that will be the first change that we see in WWE. Is that going to make me want to watch it? No, because most of their wrestlers are just not that great.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of good personalities, and that's great, but I don't see a Rey Fenix.
Nope.
I don't. I mean, they have Ricochet. Right. Maybe he'll get used. I mean, imagine if they actually use Ricochet. Right. I mean, they've got some really good wrestlers there too. They're just completely underutilized. And maybe they'll start getting a chance to shine. But WWE builds wrestlers differently too. There's still the WWE match formula. Is that going to change? Because Triple H didn't really change it a little in NXT. But the guy still learned the WWE style, right? I mean, there's styles all over the world, but the WWE has its own style of wrestling that these guys kind of get forced into, right? And that's not all Vince. There's a machine there that's been running for a long time, right? And Vince is just the figurehead. Did he have a lot of say and control? Did he have the final say? Yes. But there's a lot of people there that worked under him for a very long time, and they're still doing what they do, right? And Triple H worked with them too. And I got to tell you, when I watch some of the guys come out of that system, like the Kyle O'Reillys, and they're wrestling in AEW, I'm like, he's even better now.
And he's signed for 5 years, so it's not like...
Yes, precisely. I mean, that's exactly what Tony Khan said. That's a good segue. He says, I think the changes, this is Tony Khan now, I think the changes are going to be really positive for the fans overall. I'm a little amused that changes in the competition, people think it's going to magically change the landscape. He then addressed the idea that wrestlers would go back to WWE after their deals are done because McMahon's no longer there. So Tony just said, I've got people signed here for 5 years, and people think that just because the CEO, chairman, those head of creative, that those people change in the competition, people I have 5-year contracts with are going to magically switch teams? Good luck with that. He says he mentioned Adam Cole signed through 2027, and Malachi Black has nearly 5 years left on his deal.
Cole signed for 5 years? I didn't know that actually.
Yep. Signed through 2027.
Oh wow!
So he said just because these guys had some success under a previous administration somewhere else, they're not magically going to be going anywhere. Those two people I really like, just as examples of people who have worked under that previous administration. I'm amused by that. That's a narrative I see so-called wrestling writers pushing every day. It's pretty amusing.
Well, Tony, thank you for that response. I think I needed that just to, set me straight a little bit. You know what? He's right. He's right in terms of like, this is good for the product in general. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with you as well with the whole, as you said, it's not going to change overnight. Like there's still a formula, right? And let's be real. Like we love Triple H. We do. Well, as much as we can. And yeah, he had some good matches, but then they had the formulaic WWE matches as well, which you got to remember the Attitude Era and stuff like that, which, as I said to you, I don't even remember those matches now just because how great the wrestling is I see on AEW, right? So I don't know why I kind of got a little shaken up when I heard this news. When I heard it, I thought to myself, if Triple H can turn WWE in general into like an NXT brand, like what he had before, that's really great for the product. But you're right. There are people like, for example, CM Punk, who just didn't have issues with Vince McMahon.
Right.
He had issues with a lot of people. So again, as he said, he loves AEW and he's staying there for the foreseeable future. So yeah, you're right. Like this is better for the landscape of wrestling because, as I said before, maybe we may one day see an AEW versus WWE.
Maybe.
Right? Doors may be open like that.
And that's true. It's possible. I still think that probably wouldn't happen for at least another 5 years plus.
Oh yeah, easy.
But
easy.
let's keep in mind something else too. The NXT brand was designed for guys like me and you. Okay?
Fair. Yeah.
And it fed into that segment of the wrestling fan, of which there are only so many of us. WWE attempts to appeal to a much wider audience, right? And I mean, AEW tries to appeal to a wide audience as well, but it's pretty focused on, it keeps the history going, but it knows ROH, it knows New Japan, it acknowledges people's lives on the indies. It's got a much smarter feel to it, and it tends to appeal to a different kind of fan, I think. Now, this is just me spouting off the top of my head. This is not something I've researched or anything, but I feel like AEW is aimed at the intelligent wrestling fan, and that WWE is aimed at the general masses.
Yeah.
Which is why WrestleMania every year is this spectacle that divorces itself from the plot lines that are going on up until the couple months before WrestleMania, and you get all these people coming back because WWE hasn't bothered building real stars in years. Right? I mean, the last person they actually built into anything remotely decent was John Cena.
Yeah. Yep, you're right.
Right. So, I mean, beyond that, what do they got? Brock Lesnar again?
Well, that was one of the complaints they said. They're like, WWE in the past 6 or 7 championship matches, like for the World Championship, had Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So it's like, what?
They got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, those are my thoughts on that. I think that it's a huge day that Vince McMahon retired. It was his time to go, but I don't think the change, I tend to agree with Tony Khan. I don't think the change is going to be as drastic as some people think it is.
Yep. Nope. And Tony's a smart guy. So, okay. We have time. Again, if the product gets better, the product gets better.
Precisely. Speaking of better products, shall we go into our predictions for tonight? Okay. Fine. Well, first off, I'll start with this one. Ricky Starks versus Danhausen for the FTW title.
I don't know how to take this match because, like, remember when Tony Nese just destroyed Danhausen in like 5 seconds?
Yes.
I'm hoping it's the same thing. I'm hoping this match is short. I don't care for it. I'm kind of like, Danhausen, you're funny, but you're wasting Ricky Starks' time here. I'm sorry to say that, right? And yeah, I'm just not into this match at all.
I'm really hoping we don't get a Danhausen surprise win. And he gets the FTW title, and we have like this comedy thing now around the The FTW title becomes like, the 24/7 title or something, and it just,
Well, this is why I said Ricky Starks deserves another belt, a real championship.
Yeah, no, maybe this is a way of getting that title off of him if Danhausen gets it and curses it or something, right? No, but I'm also going to think Ricky Starks will win this, but something has to happen in this match.
Something's gonna happen.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we have Tony. Speaking of Tony Nese, we have Tony Nese and Mark Sterling versus Swerve Strickland in a handicap match.
A weird match again, because I think if Swerve loses, he gets kicked out of AEW because that's a stipulation. Because anyways, whatever. Swerve's fantastic, as much Swerve as I can get. This is really good for Tony Nese. He gets to wrestle for a bit here against a really good Swerve Strickland. I don't see Mark Sterling adding anything to this match. It's basically a one-on-one. Do I think the match is going to be good? I think with Nese and Strickland, yeah, I think it is going to be good. Now, I think it's going to be match of the night. No, I think it's just going to be good. Probably a lot of shenanigans, but overall, just a good match, I guess. Seems very WWE to me, but anyways, just a good match.
Well, I think the WWE is the handicap arc with Mark Sterling, but I mean, if you just told me Tony Nese is facing Swerve Strickland straight up, I mean, I'd figure Swerve's going to win, but Man, what a match! Yeah, I'm looking forward to this match itself. I mean, Tony Nese is great. Swerve Strickland's great. It's gonna be great. So then at 9:30, we're going to have Thunder Rosa versus Miyu Yamashita for the AEW Women's Championship.
So we know Thunder Rose is going to win here, right? Because I mean,
Right.
she lost in Japan. She's not going to lose her belts in AEW, her AEW belt in AEW. But then again, hey, you know what? Stranger things have happened. This match is going to be better than most of the women matches we've gotten recently, except for the last week, which I actually thought was a pretty good match. But I think it's going to be good. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah, I hope it's going to be good. I want it to be good. So Thunder Rosa is going to win, which, as I know, any predictable outcome kind of takes me down a notch from the match. I want a story that could end any way. But yeah, no, I mean it should be decent, and I mean I like the idea of Thunder Rosa taking on a wrestler as good as Yamashita. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one too. So yay, a lot to look forward to on this show so far.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Dante Martin versus Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, so this one is very tricky because right off the bat, it's going to be an amazing match because Dante is amazing and Guevara, well, we know he's awesome too. So I'm having a really hard time choosing my match of the night, and it's either going to be this or probably the next one you're going to talk about. But you know what? I'm going to choose I'm going to choose this match. I'm going to choose this match as my match of the night, just because, Dante Martin, like this guy doesn't understand what gravity is. I always say this, right? So I'm going to go. Yeah, this is a stretch. I'm going to go out and say this is going to be the match of the night.
Okay, okay. You may be right. You may be right, but I'm not going with this as my match of the night.
I know which one you're going with.
Oh yeah, you know me. Dante Martin versus Sammy Guevara. Great match. I mean, look at this. Another match I'm looking at going, man, they really stacked Fight for the
Mm-hmm.
Fallen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dante Martin and Sammy Guevara, this match is going to be
Great match.
insane, and
Yep.
yet not quite at the point where I'm
Yep.
going to choose it as match of the night. Because next up we hear from Jungle Boy. Ah, Swerve. We do hear from Jungle Boy
We do
though.
hear from him, but yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know.
He's going to talk.
He's going to talk. That's about it. Yes, you're
Yeah, I
correct.
know.
You're correct.
See how I threw that in, and neither one of us wants to talk about it because you know what we really want to talk about? Bryan Danielson versus Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, this was the one I get again I hesitate. I'm going which one was going to be the best match. Bryan Danielson, amazing. Like, what else can I say about this guy? And Daniel Garcia, like, whew, this kid is so good. I was going to choose this match as my match of the night, so this could be like my second, but I know this is your match of the night. So go ahead.
It's 100% my match of the night. I mean, Bryan Danielson, Daniel Garcia, come on. It's like I can't ask for anything else. This is absolutely amazing. Like they're both phenomenal technically. They're both phenomenal. Like I just will keep using the word phenomenal over and over again without even mentioning AJ Styles. It's just seriously, this is going to be an amazing match. When I saw this on the card for this week, I was like, oh my God, that could be a match of the year candidate.
Yep.
Never mind match of the night. So yeah, I am quite happy about this. So yeah, this is going to be out of sight match of the night. But I think the main event of the evening is going to be Jon Moxley versus Roosh for the interim AEW World Championship.
So this one here is an interesting match because this has the potential of stealing the show, because as we said, Jon Moxley has looked a lot better, like really good recently, and Roosh is awesome. Like I like the mass match he was in, fantastic. I think it's going to be at most tied for second place tonight, but I don't know. This one concerned me in a good way, because I'm like, maybe this will actually be match of the night. So I'm expecting big things from this match.
Yeah, you know what? It is a dark horse for sure. I mean, I've been trying to say for a while, Jon Moxley, his wrestling is
Mm-hmm.
better. I've enjoyed his matches, and like
Mm-hmm.
you said, Roosh, guy's amazing.
It's good.
So I got a feeling this is going to be a hell of a. There isn't a bad match. This is the
No,
first time I've been looking at an AEW card and going, hey, there's like nothing bad on the card. Like every single match is something I want to watch, except maybe Ricky Starks and Danhausen.
I
And
know.
I'm willing to forgive that because you know who's not on the card tonight?
Wardlow again.
Again.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Wardlow. I'm the single tear falling out of my eye. Oh, no, Wardlow. Maybe he can go sign with WWE now that Vince is gone.
Very
Anyway.
odd, eh? It's so odd the booking where they give him the belt and then he's wrestled one time
Isn't
after,
that what they
or
do with this champion though, the TNT
the
champion?
TNT champion. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he just
People go on big
disappears.
breaks and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. It's you need a break
Do,
from wrestling.
do
You
you
get the
remember
TNT
when
belt.
Kenny had the world championship belt and was wrestling almost every single week?
Yes, yes, I do.
And you look at these other championships and you're like, so what's going on exactly? Like, what's happening here? I don't know if that's just bad booking or again storylines. It's just they just don't know what to do with certain wrestlers. I don't know.
Well, yeah, yeah, you know how I feel about Wardlow. I'm like
The
they turned him into Goldberg Part 2, and they don't know what to do with him now. So
these trios championships need to come in ASAP because then you can use all the House of Black. You can, or who knows what's going to happen with Miro, right? We don't know if he's part of the
right,
House of Black or what's
right.
going on. All of the elites, all of
Mm-hmm.
undisputed. There's
Yep,
so many. The Dark Order. You can throw
I
everyone.
know.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
no,
so good.
it is. I'm looking forward to it. There is so much going on. This card tonight looks amazing. It's
It
probably
does
the
look
most
good.
hyped I've been for a card in a little while. It's like they're like, you weren't there last week live. We're gonna give you a really good card. Thank you. So why don't we go watch this card?
Let's do this. It's time to watch AEW Fight for the Fallen.
And we will be back when it's over. Krishna, we're
Yo.
back. What are you doing October 12th, Krishna?
Well, I'm going to be in Toronto watching AEW Dynamite because that's when they're coming to Toronto. I popped for that when I saw it at the
Oh,
bottom
you and
of
me
the
both.
screen.
I had just written something down, and we'll get to that when we get to that moment. But I was like, okay, so this is the only relevant thing coming out of that. And then they put up Dynamite coming to Toronto, and I'm like, no, this is the most relevant thing in this whole thing. AEW is coming to Toronto October 12th. Tickets go on sale August 29th. I wrote it down.
Perfect.
We
Perfect.
got to be there, man. We got to be there.
We have to. At this point, like, yeah, October 12th, Toronto, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and
Oh my
Adam
God.
Cole and the undisputed Bryan Danielson, John. At this point, we can't miss this show.
I'm gonna look like Bryan Danielson in the last match passing out. I'm sorry for the spoilers, everyone, but it's not like you didn't just watch the show
Spoiler
with us.
alert.
But yeah, but but holy crap.
Yeah, big
Yeah,
news.
yeah,
Big
huge
news.
news. I cannot wait.
Same.
Live AEW, Wednesday, October 12th. Tickets on sale Friday, August 26th. If we don't
Amazing.
get tickets, I don't know, sell small children for some. I have no idea. I want tickets to this. So
We'll get tickets.
we will get tickets. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. If we don't get tickets, you'll hear about it here. So
Yeah, we'll complain about it.
if we do get tickets, you'll also hear about it here. But we'll keep you. We have a month. We have a month.
Oh,
So
I can't wait. Can't wait.
I know. I know. Okay. Well, we have a show to review.
Very true.
So let's get to it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Fight for the Fallen came to us from Worcester, Massachusetts, or Worcester, MA. That's Maine, right? It was somewhere, Massachusetts,
Somewhere. Yeah,
East
somewhere.
Coast. Yeah, I don't know where Worcester is. I'm Canadian, okay? It's not my and I'm a very excited Canadian right now. So anyway, JR starts the boot this week with Taz and Excalibur, and he was there for the full 2 hours again. And we opened up, which I thought was surprising, with the AEW Interim World Championship match. John
Yep.
Moxley versus Roosh, who comes out with Jose the assistant. The announcers mentioned right off the bat that Roosh hasn't been pinned in over a year. William Regal also joins the commentary. Mox took what I called a Randy Orton length of time getting to the ring. It was literally like 3 or 4 minutes of him just getting to the ring.
So, Bill, I'm going to say something that's going to change the way you look at Mox's entrance from now on because
Okay.
I can't get out of my head. Do you remember when Jericho used to get lost on his way to the ring?
Yes.
Every time I see Mox, because he keeps walking back and forth, and it looks like he's lost looking for the ring.
Which
And
aisle takes me to the ring?
And all I can think about is Chris Jericho, WCW era, just making fun of Bill
Oh,
Goldberg, and all I can see that is that now. So every time he
oh.
gets lost, I'm like, is he getting lost
Yes.
finding the
Oh,
ring?
you're right. I will never watch that entrance the same way again. It's now from now on. It's going to be the Jericho getting lost on his way to the ring entrance. Okay. So, but when Mox finally gets to the ring, Roosh goes
Mhm.
right after him before
Yep.
the bell even rings. We do see a shot of Kip Sabian at ringside again, for whatever reason. Roosh takes it to Mox early, series of attacks. Mox is launched outside. He's already bleeding. I'm pretty sure that Mox just has to bleed every single match he's in. Roosh rubs the blood on himself, tries to use a chair when the ref is distracted by Jose, the assistant, but it manages to be, he misses. Mox gets out of the way. Mox does a tope suicida onto Roosh into the barricade, a suplex on the outside. This puts Mox in control again, but only briefly. Roosh uses cables on the outside to choke Mox down before the commercial. Apparently, using this object is not a disqualification, it's just a 5 count. Roosh showboats during the commercial. There was a run into the corner. He stopped. I don't know if you saw this during the commercial, but he ran at the corner. He stopped right in front of Mox, gives him this little light kick, somersaults back, and poses. Then he takes it to Mox for most of the commercial break. There was, of course, the spot I marked out for was the back claw by Mox on the top rope before he gave him a superplex. I love the back claw.
And they kept talking about the back claw.
I know, it's the best, man. It's the best, okay? Impressive chop exchange, German suplexes, elbows, then the King Kong lariat by Mox. But Roosh comes back with a snap German of his own for the first near fall. You see a Roosh crossface, and then Mox kicks his head in, tries for paradigm shift, but Roosh reverses it, smashes Mox into the turnbuckle. Mox bites Roosh. Then there's some shenanigans.
Yeah.
Andrade comes running out, he interferes. The Lucha Brothers chase him off. Shenanigans. But going back to the match, Mox near fall on the most dangerous move in pro wrestling after the shenanigans. Roosh straight jacket pile driver for a near fall. Roosh goes for the horns, but misses. You see a Mox Death Rider for the near fall, and then
Mhm.
Mox gets the Bulldog choke launched on, cinched on. I don't know what word
Locked
I'm looking
on.
for. That's it. He wrenches back. Locked on. That was the word. Wrenches back. Roosh goes out. Mox wins by submission. Let's talk about the match before we get to the after match.
um Great match. This is, I had said this might be like a dark horse here, and it was fun. Like Roosh going one-on-one with Mox. You're right. Mox getting better. Mox is it's more fun. You know what it is? It's not slow. It's fast. Like yeah, there are chops. It's hard hitting, but it is fast as heck. Like I couldn't like, yeah, when they were showboating, that's probably when they were doing a little bit of a rest, but everything else, they were flying at each other. I love the fact that Roosh just attacked him, didn't give him any chance to like have any type of like offense at the beginning, just didn't care. Went right after him. That's what you do. That's what you should be doing, right?
You know,
Really, really good. Like they really pushed Roosh as like this big guy. You could stand up to all these big guys, right? And I believed it. Roosh is really good. He has that hard hitting style, but it's also the luchador kind of mix in there as well. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. I thought it was great. I really really liked it, and I was like, hey, this is the first match. What are we gonna get going forward? But yeah, no, this match was great.
oh yeah, I completely agree with you. This match was amazing from start to finish. Fast, hard hitting. Roosh is great. Lots of good holds, lots of good moves in this one. Good hard hitting stuff going on. I mean, the finish was well done. You know, like the transitions, he actually kicked out of the Death Rider, which was
Yes,
surprising. I mean that.
I bid on that one. I was like, oh my
Oh
god,
yeah.
are they gonna do something here? Is he gonna win or
Oh, I
something like
know, but
that?
then he gets the bulldog choke on and takes him
Yeah,
down anyway. But I mean, I think the right guy won. Obviously,
agreed.
it's he's got to keep his championship because this was all a setup for what comes after the match.
Hmm.
So the Jericho Appreciation Society's music hits. Judas starts playing. Jericho comes out with the JAS. Cool Hand Angelo Parker is there, and he says, "You guys don't deserve to sing Judas in a terrible town like this. AEW Galaxy, appreciate us."
I know. I laughed so hard when they
Yeah.
said, first of all, AEW Galaxy, and then appreciate us.
Yes, it was great. I
Fantastic.
laughed too. And then Jericho starts. He goes, "You're on a roll as champ." He's talking to Moxley, but nothing like our role in the JAS. Garcia's in the main event, and he'll kick Bryan Danielson's stupid head in. Sammy will annihilate Dante Martin. Then we have Anna. She asked for an opportunity, and we gave her one, and it paid off huge. So Anna Jay takes the mic. Damn right I took that opportunity. I'm a new Anna Jay. Anna J-A-S. I'm the sexiest and toughest and not afraid to prove it. And she tells the audience one by one she's going to choke them all out. Which was so over the top ridiculous, but it was great. So Jericho says, that's the intensity I had last week. And he goes, Eddie broke my nose. He threw me into barbed wire. I had to be helped out, but I beat Eddie Kingston. I beat Eddie Kingston. I beat Eddie Kingston. And Moxley, I'm going to beat you. After 2.5 years, I'm demanding my rematch for the AEW Championship at Quake by the Lake. I'll be the first ever 2-time La Champion. Mox replies, God, I hate you, Chris Jericho. And I hate this sports entertainment BS. And shove that interim BS. You know, I used to look up to you. In your own way, you are the greatest, the GOAT. But all you have going on right now is the wizard and sports entertainment. It's all pathetic. This isn't the sports entertainment championship. It's the AEW championship for pro wrestling. You want this? Leave all that trash at home. You stop getting these people to carry your bags. Carry your own freaking bag to Minneapolis. I don't want the wizard or the champion or the king of trademarks or whatever you call yourself now. I want the guy from the VHS tapes. This guy from the Super J Cup. I want the Lionheart. And if the AEW championship is defended on my watch, it'll be Jon Moxley versus the last survivor of the Heart Dungeon, the Lionheart.
Yeah, pretty like awesome promo. Like again, Jericho's group, they're so ridiculous. And when Jericho started saying, you know, I beat Kingston, obviously everyone started cheering Eddie. Yeah. But yeah, Moxley calling out the Lionheart. I was like, oh my goodness. And then they kept talking about this, right? You know, and even Taz was saying, be careful what you wish for, right? Like you don't want to take on this guy, the Lionheart.
Right.
I'm very interested on what happens here, because if someone can beat Moxley for the belt right now, that someone is Chris Jericho.
Yes.
Right. And and if he's calling out if Jon Moxley's calling out Chris Jericho for him to come out as Lionheart, no way. I don't think Chris Jericho's losing that match. Right. But again, I don't think he is. It could be just, you know, another Mox win, but I'm excited for that match because I do want to see Le Champion again, right? With the belts, you know, round 2. That would be really good and exciting. Like nothing against Mox. He's been great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This Jericho challenge, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I really like Mox as champion, but you see, he and Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta would also make a good trios for that tournament, right?
Yes, they would.
So, you know, a couple weeks we've got that Quake by the Lake, and you know, I don't know. You're right. This one's up in the air. I could see Jericho winning that. This is like the first legitimate threat, I think, to Moxley's title.
Well, we'll talk about it at the end of the show, but what happened later on, I don't know anymore at this point. I'm like, anything can happen.
Right? I know it was, but we'll get to that, of course. So for now, yes, I mean, we've got this challenge made. The promos were excellent. I love both their promos. I mean, Mox is really good at turning that back around and makes the championship seem so valuable and so strong. And he wants a tough match.
Did you hear did you pick up when he called it the World Wrestling, and it almost like he was gonna say WWF, but the World Wrestling Sports Entertainment title? He's like, it's not the World Wrestling Sports Entertainment title. I was like, ooh, direct shots. Yep. But yeah, they're making this title the top title in wrestling. So yes,
exactly. And Mox, another guy who's probably in no danger of leaving AEW anytime soon. So then Excalibur, you go back to the bench, and Excalibur and the guys are there, and they've got 3 belts laid out on the table, and there is now a World Trios Championship for AEW, and the finals will be at All Out. There's going to be a tournament beforehand to get them to All Out, but we don't know who all's in the tournament yet.
I just love the part where, like, they have the belts. Everyone knows it's Trios belt. I'm like, oh, look, the Trios belt. And then Taz or Excalibur is like, we're not the champions, but these are the belts. They laid them out.
I know they laid them out as if the three of those guys were the champs. Right? It was pretty great.
Yeah, we knew this is coming.
Yep.
More announcements that will show up in the show later on. We're talking. Yeah, things are happening, and I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. This is going to be great. Um, Then we have Dante Martin in the back with Tony Schiavone, and Dante Martin says, I know Sammy will have Ty at ringside because Sammy can't hack it on the roster anymore. He's eating grapes and getting his feet rubbed. Well, I've been earning respect. You remember what that was like, Sammy? Earning respect? So he's going to have Sky Blue in his corner tonight.
Yeah, I guess, it's a great, like, those two going at it, it's going to be a good match, a great match. And yeah, if you can add Sky Blue into the mix, why not? Because Sammy's always coming out with Ty. I didn't like. I was gonna ask you, did they say that Dante and Sky are dating or anything like that? Like, are they?
I don't. I never even
because like he gives
that.
her a peck on the cheek, but I'm like, oh, maybe they're just friends. I don't know. I read too much into it.
But I really like Sky Blue. I think that she's someone that they could push, and I think she's got some talent and stuff. But I always like her appearances on Dark. But it was nice to see her show up on Dynamite, even though she wasn't wrestling. But hey, who else wasn't on the show tonight? Jade Cargill.
Oh.
No Jade Cargill, no Wardlow. I mean, could you have set up a better show? They announced Toronto's getting AEW. I know you.
They're
it's talking
like to us.
I know. It's like, here's a show for you guys. Okay, so anyway, then we hear Danhausen's music. Danhausen comes out. He's taking on Ricky Starks. I like JR when Danhausen's there. He describes Danhausen as complex. There's a long intro for Starks, though, where it's talking about what makes a championship. And the line I really liked out of it was, is it the commas in his bank account? Nice. So Taz notes that this isn't an official championship. It's a rogue championship, but, it's still important. But anyway, the match, very quick, 2 minutes. Danhausen went for the curse. Starks takes him down. Northern Light suplex by Danhausen was basically his only offense and seems to be the only move I ever see Danhausen do. He's kind of like, Alicia Fox. You remember her? The only move she could do effectively was the Northern Light suplex.
Yeah.
So Danhausen, the Alicia Fox of the AEW men's division. But anyway, Starks hits the Enziguri, runs into the corner, hits his head on the turnbuckle, but that's not enough. Starks spears Danhausen, takes him down in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, that spear looks vicious. Like when I was like, when I saw it hit, I was like, oh my God, that looked hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, that little promo, I should have picked up on it because I was like, what are they doing Ricky Starks right now, right? And we should have picked up on what would have happened after this match because who's Danhausen's friend, right?
Yeah,
overall,
exactly.
the match was really quick. It just showcased how good Ricky Starks is, and then it was over.
Yeah, and then Ricky grabs the mic. And it was good. You're right. The spear was excellent. Ricky takes the mic. You're very nice. You're very evil, but you're not absolute. I still have more in the tank. Bring out another challenger for real this time. You hear Taz and going, that's not a smart move. And Hook's music hits. So like Taz is like, what? He's kind of freaking out, and I've got goosebumps now. The announcers note that Ricky and Hook trained together, so we get Hook versus Ricky Starks for the FTW Championship. And Hook takes it to Starks right out of the gate. The crowd is solidly behind Hook. Fist, head bump, pump handle suplex. But Starks comes back with a back suplex, series of reversals. He hits him with the spear, goes for the Rochambeau, but Hook manages to reverse the Rochambeau into the Red Drum, gets him down. Starks taps in a little over 2 minutes, I think. And we've got a new FTW champion, Hook. But we see a good show of respect between Starks and Hook after the match. They fist bump, and JR calls Hook a young, talented pup.
Yeah. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. The minute Danhausen walked in, I'm like, where's Hook? I haven't seen Hook in such a long time.
Right.
And of course, I knew Ricky was going to call somebody out. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Hook. And there was no way Hook was going to lose. I knew that already. But there were things they were doing in the match where I'm like, okay, Ricky's acting different in this match, right? There was that one move where I forget what Ricky tried to do to Hook, but he did this weird kind of flip and he reversed the move. I was like, what the heck was that?
That was the thing that went into the back suplex.
Yeah, it was so cool. I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, the match was over and done with quick, and I am more like, okay, it was good. I'm more concerned about what's happening afterwards.
Yes, and just as a point, I would like to see Hook and Ricky Starks in a long
In a
match.
full match.
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah,
Agreed.
something where they don't just get 2 minutes of
Yeah,
airtime and they got to end it quickly. But I think, Starks calling out a second opponent, right? I mean, all these things, these were very face actions. The fist bump to Hook at the end, not being upset with
that's
him,
what I was
you
saying.
got
Yeah.
me. So after the commercial break, Starks is still in the ring, but now he's with Hobbs and Tony Schiavone. And Stark says, obviously I lost, but I'm no stranger to losing. I'm okay with that. I got that title. People thought it was a noose around my neck, but I made it into gold. I brought it into prominence. I busted my ass every day. I deserve to be here and talk longer than 40 seconds. People tell me, hey, be patient. Wait your turn. My time was last month. My time was last year. My goddamn time is right now. It's not a string of bad luck. It's bad timing, and thump Hobbs decks him from
Dex him.
behind.
Yep.
The crowd starts booing huge. They were cheering Starks
Yep.
during this promo big time, and the crowd starts booing like crazy. Hobbs takes him down, gives him a spine buster. Taz is freaking out outside. So yeah.
I said in our pre-show, Ricky Starks needs a belt that matters. Who cares about the FTW championship? Let's just exactly Hook. You can keep it forever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Throughout this entire match, I'm like, Ricky Starks, everything about him is looking very face here. Like he looks like a good guy. And the minute he said, I took that noose and I turned it into a tie and made it gold, I was like, holy crap, you just got the entire crowd behind you, right? And he's 100% right. His time is now. Like I like bad Ricky Starks, but I can't imagine like AEW is doing a good job here. Like he doesn't have to be like a perfectly good, cool, a good face. He still has his attitude and stuff like that. And I've never like if you look at Ricky Starks, he's never been a full on like heel. He does heel things, but he's not a heel. The crowd just loves him. They can't stop cheering for this guy because he's so good. He needs this. He needs to go solo. He needs to go on like a run, win a championship or something because he's just too good to be in. I'm sorry, Team Taz. He's too good to be in Team Taz. Way too good to be in Team Taz.
I think the problem is the championships are all in the hands of the wrong guys for Ricky Starks to face. You got Wardlow with the TNT title. You got Moxley, and Jericho's busy with him with the AEW title. What's he going for?
I don't see why Ricky Starks can't challenge for that international title or whatever the heck they're calling it.
The
The
one
podcast,
Pac's got. Oh, that'd be a great match.
right? Why
The
not? Well, first of all,
Atlantic
it would be a great match if Pac loses. And I'm not going to say Pac's gonna lose right away, but if Pac loses that match, Ricky gains it. Ricky is the one going out to these events, and he's the one winning. That's a big thumbs up for Ricky Starks, right? That's him like getting like has a championship that he's actually defending. I'm excited for that. I'm just speculation. Who knows what's gonna happen? But like he would be a better TNT champion. Right. He would be a better like. So let's be real here. He for most of the titles that are here, yeah, you're right. He's not gonna get a lot of them. But like I don't like. Yeah, you're right. Wardlow is being pushed to the moon right now, but I would rather see Ricky Starks with that title than Wardlow.
Well, I'd rather see Danhausen with that title than Wardlow. So the problem is you know what Ricky Starks is doing for like the next month, right?
Vacation?
Feuding with Hobbs.
Oh well, I was gonna say vacation. Is he gonna be injured and be out?
No, he's feuding with Hobbs for like the next month, right? So, which is fine.
He's pushing his buddy. I mean, we saw Hobbs like totally like shock both of us in that tag team match like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago,
yeah. So I have a feeling that the reason why Hobbs turned on him is because he's going to blame him for the loss in that tag team match because he was the one that got pinned.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So he's going to be so they're going to do their little feud thing for a little bit, and it's going to do nothing but make Starks look good. So.
Bigger, exactly.
Yep. Then, with zero time for this segment to breathe, Ricky Starks still lying in the ring. Hobbs barely got to stand over him for any we got to go in the back because they claim to have a message for the Gun Club. I'm like, wow, this show moves at the pace of like old time WCW, but with actually good stuff. Yo, listen, the Acclaimed roasted the Ass Boys in a rap battle. So this week we're gonna roast you again just to be jerks about it. Watch our music video. It's where you find out what kind of match we're gonna have. The Acclaimed is taking out the Trash Boys. Everyone loves the Acclaimed, and everyone will love this video.
Yeah, it was, you know what, it's again, it's sports entertainment at its finest, right? I mean, the Acclaimed are just such a fun loving tag team that anything they do, the crowd just cheers. They can do nothing and the crowd cheers them, right? So like Tony Khan understands what he's got with them, so he's going to keep them happy. I don't know if you watched the rap battle on Friday night on Rampage.
I'm a little behind because of coming back from Victoria.
It's all good. It's all good. But like they were trading shots. It was like, you know, it's funny because Austin Gunn called out Max Caster for, like, he said John Cena wants his gimmick back. And he's like, you couldn't satisfy Chris Stat. Apparently, Max Caster and Chris Statlander used to date. Who knew, right? And then he brought up his father. Apparently, Max Caster's father was a pro football player,
John Cena?
Makes sense. Unfortunately, Max Caster's father was not John Cena. It's actually something Caster, but like it's like he's older guy. But apparently he was really good. But then he got, I don't know, cut or so. I don't know what happened with it. But it was making fun of his father and stuff like that. But still, it ended up as the Acclaim obviously winning. But then they got attacked by Billy Gunn and,
of course,
and then the boys. So, you know, they're going to come to blows. I'm assuming they're going to hold that match for All Out. Kind of makes sense if they hold it for All Out, right? They can do the shenanigan matches here and there, but they'll probably have that match at All Out. But yeah, you know what? Sports entertainment, it's fun. It's, you know what? I can't in any way hate anything the Acclaims what they do, because everything is just so funny and they're so over the top. And you're like, these guys are just funny. You can tell they're having as much fun as the audience is having, right? Yeah. So I can't hate it.
They're a great mid-card tag team to give us a little bit of comic relief here and there and some good matches because they can both wrestle.
They can go. Yeah, they can go.
Yep. So, speaking of guys that can go, we then had Sammy Guevara taking on Ty Conti. Sammy Guevara with Ty Conti taking on Dante Martin with Sky Blue. So you get this early sequence between Dante and Sammy where Sammy gets him, shows off after a drop kick and does his pose in the ring, but then Dante does the same thing back, drop kick back to Sammy, poses in the ring. Dante jumps back off the top rope, halting a dive. That was, he ran at the top rope, jumped on the top rope, flipped back. Sammy's standing there with his jaw dropped, looking at him and tries to leave. Dante pursues him, throws Sammy off the ramp, and then a dive into him to a holy chant. The count starts during the commercial. Ty helps Sammy back into the ring, but Dante drop kicks him back out. But then you get Sammy with a suplex and a rear chin lock onto Dante for a bit. The only rest hold I saw in the whole match. Throws Dante into the ring post, poses again, does some snow angels in the ring, but then Dante dumps Sammy outside the ring again. He goes for a leap, but goes right into Sammy's knee strike outside the ring. Sammy dives over the top rope onto Dante and then a Spanish fly for a near fall. Dante at this point, like, the story turns to him nursing a knee. So he's like holding his knee. Dante counters the GTH then into a backslide for 2. Dante gets a reverse slam on him again for another near fall. Sammy goes for an off the rope suplex that gets countered, but he gets then into Dante does his own standing Spanish fly for a 2 count. Sammy then gets him with a top rope cutter, followed by the GTH for 1, 2, 3. Match over.
Yeah, I thought this match was absolutely fantastic. Now, I did say this match was going to be my match of the night, and I can't give it match of the night.
Why can't you give it the match of the night, Krishna?
I can't give it match of the night because I should have known there was that. Bill was right. And there was going to be another match tonight. But you know what? I mean, if anyone had said to me that the Roosh match against Mox, that this match or the Danielson match were their match of the night, I wouldn't argue. I'd be like, I get it. I totally get it. Right. I love this match as much as I love the Mox match. I like this one actually a little bit more, obviously, because again, these two guys, I don't understand how they do what they do. It doesn't make sense, right? Yeah, you call that little flip that he did off of the top rope. You're like, and he did it with such ease. Like, hey, it's like breathing for me, right? Yep. So yeah, these guys, I love the fact I give AEW credit. 2 of their young studs just going at it, right? Good on you. Like you're not afraid to put these guys together, give them some time. Um, and I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed this match.
I also enjoyed the match. I'm going to tell you something. This is my number 3 match of the night. I actually liked the
Ooh,
Mox
okay,
Roosh
okay,
match better
okay.
than this match. You know why? It's the storytelling element.
Yeah, agreed.
The Mox Roosh match just had more of that hard hitting back and forth, Roosh there, I'm gonna take your head off attitude. It was like so hard hitting from start to finish. All right. This one, good, very good. I'm impressed by the athleticism. Right, but Dante had that bit of knee thing going on, but he didn't really make it that apparent during the
Yeah,
match. I mean, the story was more about each of them just kind of hitting each other, right? There wasn't a lot of build to it, but there wasn't a lot of build to the Mox Roosh one
no,
either.
exactly.
The only thing you know is that Roosh hasn't been pinned in over a year, right? So this was his first. And I guess he still hasn't been pinned because he submitted, but there just wasn't as much of that, and I like my story elements, but really good match. I enjoyed the heck out of watching it. My jaw dropped too when Dante did that rope. Just stop. So
Hmm.
how the heck do you stop
I
yourself
don't know.
cold
I
jumping
don't
on the
know.
top rope like that? I don't understand. It's like the man's not human. But anyway, yeah, I really liked it. Liked it a lot. Number 3, and on this card, that match could have been match of the night on a lot of the other Dynamites
Yeah,
we've watched recently.
agreed.
So,
Agreed.
so yes, I'm not taking anything away from that match at all. The best too was the sign right behind them during the match that said, "We miss Kenny Omega. We know, we feel you. We
We
feel
feel
you
you.
right here." So after the match, Sammy decides he's going to go off the top rope on Dante again, but Sky Blue gets in the way, prompting Anna Jay to come running out, and she and Ty take down Sky Blue, but then Ruby Soho, Eddie Kingston, and Ortiz come out for the save, running off the Jericho Appreciation Society.
You know, I don't know if there is a more boring team than Eddie Kingston, Ruby Soho, and Ortiz. Ortiz, yeah. When
Yeah,
they ran it, I was like, meh. I'm like, yeah, great, great, great. Eddie Kingston's fine, but I'm like, yeah, I don't care about this at all.
but would you care if Eddie Kingston and Ortiz form a trios with Dante Martin?
I would. Dante would add a lot. And as we know, Santana is hurt. He is actually hurt. And he's not having the greatest relationship right now with AEW. So that's up in the air. Um, but yeah, no, I wouldn't mind seeing those three. But then again, it's because I love Dante Martin so much. I just want to see him as much as I can. Right. So
Right. I think that would be a very weird trios team.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it'd be kind of funny watching Eddie Kingston with Dante Martin would be kind of great. I think the promos would be hilarious. I don't know. Like that's what I thought when they came out. I'm like, they're
True.
rescuing Dante, but I mean, really, they just want to run off the Jericho Appreciation
That's it.
Society. But I don't know. I don't know. Then you've got like Ruby Soho and Sky Blue. They're gonna tag against the other two now in some Rampage or Dark Elevation match soon.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. We'll see where it goes. But then we go backstage for a Daniel Garcia promo. And he says, "Bryan Danielson, I haven't heard that name in a couple months. I've been in the ring every week getting better and better. You've been working on your garden with your wife and kids. I'm going to send you on vacation with your family. They'll be calling Daniel Garcia the greatest technical sports entertainer in the world."
I just love how they add sports entertainer to
It's the
everything.
best.
It's
Greatest
so
technical
funny.
sports entertainer.
And they do it such with such a straight face, and they're never laughing about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I again, Daniel Garcia is so friggin' hilarious. Best thing they did was put him with Chris Jericho.
Oh,
This
I
is
know, I know.
awesome.
Amazing. Yeah, I loved this too. It was great. Then we go to just outside in the parking lot, apparently now. We have Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh, and they have a problem with the best friends.
Yeah.
Which prompts the best friends, because I thought to myself, we're finally getting rid of these three guys. They've been doing these promos on Samoa Joe for like the last 2 months, and it feels like, and every week it's the same thing from them. This week they're talking about the best friends, but they're back. What I liked was then the best friends interrupt. They're going, "You're going to talk about us like we're not 6 feet away from you in tie-dye suits?" So
They're
they make
so
a
funny.
trios match for Rampage. So yeah, yeah, and I like the fact that Orange Cassidy was also wearing tie
Tie
dye.
dye.
I can't even say it without laughing. Oh, it was great. It was great.
Yeah, no, it was funny. And hey, the more trios teams we have, the better the tournament's gonna be. So just remember that.
Yes, and that's a good trios. I mean, long
Hmm.
established trios in
Hmm.
AEW, right? The best friends. So good stuff. Good stuff. So that was only our first hour. That's right, people. We've only gone through
Yeah,
1 hour of Rampage. On to our second hour. Tony Schiavone is in the ring, and he introduces Jungle Boy, who comes out joined by Luchasaurus, who's still wearing the black mask. Um, but Jungle Boy is wearing the leather jacket that Christian threw over him after he gave him the concerto. So Jungle Boy, with Luchasaurus standing right behind him, staring at him, which I thought was interesting. He
yeah, I
says,
saw that.
Christian Cage is the biggest P he's ever met in his entire life. The crowd goes nuts, starting to chant the
The
word
word.
for a cat. Yes. I've watched I've watched you come out for weeks talking BS about my family. Congrats. You're the most relevant you've ever been in your whole career. But I come back and you run. I didn't get it at first. I threw you out of some battle royal a year ago. You missed out on some bonus. But someone wrestling as long as you, why is that such a big deal? I thought a little more and realized you were strapped for cash because your wife just divorced your bitch ass. He continues, just like all the bad guys in the movie with turtlenecks and small things, what do you think happened with the wife? He says sideways to the camera. Christian found himself a monster, but that monster is my best friend. He was protecting Christian for me. No one will get his hands on Christian before me. Well, Christian, if you want to talk crap, talk crap. Say whatever you want. Swing a chair at my head. I can take it. 3 years ago, I was standing in a dirt hole with my uncle Dave and a shovel, watching tears fall into the dirt, making it mud, and I dug my father's grave with my own 2 hands. At this point, Christian interrupts from backstage. He says, I don't mean to interrupt your time, but something I want to say. Luchasaurus being your best friend, that was a big mistake. He says to Luchasaurus, you were walking through people left and right, main event gold for days, but now you're still Jungle Boy's lapdog. You think I ran away from you, Jungle Boy? I wasn't scared. I was scared of what I would do to you. You think the concerto hurt? You ain't seen nothing yet. The next thing I drape over you will be a body bag. You don't need to worry about me disrespecting your father. You can get some dirt and cozy up beside him. You told me all your secrets, and now I'm going to prey on your weakness.
Yeah. It was great. See, you know what? It's almost it's you look at it and you're like, wow, Jungle Boy, are you learning from Christian Cage's promos? Like this, like the way you're cutting it. I was like, wow. I love how when after he talked about his wife divorcing him, he kind of did the call me thing. I couldn't stop laughing. So I'm like, oh, that's such a Christian move, the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the whole I love when Christian popped in. It was like, again, reinforcing in Luchasaurus, you're just his lapdog, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you think Christian can't get any lower, I'll put you in a body bag and you can bury yourself next to your father. I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Yep.
Holy crap. But yeah, I enjoyed this promo. Again, Christian is still the biggest heel that they have. And I'm very curious what's going to happen with Luchasaurus. I'm still thinking, like you watch him come out in his black outfit. I'm like, no, 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 no,
Mm-hmm.
something is up.
And the way he was standing right behind Jungle Boy, it's like they're so good at these little will he, won't he cues in AEW. It's like it was just so well done. Jungle Boy's getting better on the mic,
Mhm.
but he still needs some work.
He
There were
needs work. I
moments in
know.
that promo I'm like, you sound like you're kind of reading things right now,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you've memorized your lines and you're going out there's a, like I didn't feel his stuff about the dirt and the grave.
Mhm.
It felt like just like I don't know if I would really ever say in real life, and my tears fell down my face and became mud at my feet. I mean that sounds like something you'd write in a poem, but not something you'd necessarily say in real life,
Yeah.
right? So I think there's got to be it's like the WWE is famous for that. They have all these lines that are clearly things someone wrote down and went, that sounds cool, but it's not something anyone would ever say to another human being in real life, right? It's not the kind of thing that pops into your head in a conversation like, Krishna, my tears were running down my face and the dirt below me was turning to mud.
Yeah,
No,
no,
no, I don't think I'll ever say that. And even if I'm talking about, like a departed relative, I'm not gonna
saying
put it
that.
in those terms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either Jungle Boy is a true at heart poet and can't stop poetry, which would be a great gimmick, by the way, or he just needs to work on his promos a bit. But Christian Cage cut in at the right moment. That was
Hmm.
the right time to start talking over him and cut him off because I felt like Jungle Boy was starting to get a bit lost, and Christian came right in and took it back. And so the segment overall worked quite well. Jungle Boy's getting much better on the mic. And then we go backstage and you hear Brandon going, "We're live! Let's go!" And you immediately hear the Bucks, "But we didn't want to do this. But there's a trios championship now. I make a great third wheel." No, no, Brandon, that's not happening. Turn off the camera. Then then you see Hangman come up and they notice him and they're like, "Oh hey, happy birthday!" Or a bit of an awkward exchange between them. They wish each other happy birthday. Apparently they have birthdays close to each other. And you see Matt and Nick, they start talking to Hangman. We've wanted to talk to you, and just as they're about to start talking to him, the whole Dark Order shows up. Hey, what's up? Is everything okay here? And so then the Hangman's like, yeah, everything's great, and the Bucks just leave. Brandon goes, well, that was awkward, and they tell him to cut the camera.
Things are building. Things are building. So, um, obviously, they want the Bucks want to reconcile with Hangman, but Hangman has a new family right now. Like that's what's happening, right? Like, and Hangman's not going to turn his back on the Dark Order. Like they've been there for him since like they were trying to recruit him. So that's been an ongoing thing for a couple, like 2 years now almost, right? So yeah, it's gonna be weird because I can see Hangman is in a trios tag team with John Silver and Alex Reynolds, right? That might be
Mm-hmm.
it. We
Oh yeah,
might be
that'd be a
we
solid.
so the Bucks, they're now looking for a partner.
Well, yes, and let's keep in mind we do get an announcement later, which we will of
Mhm.
course talk about. That Adam Cole's coming back, and the Undisputed Elite is coming back, and
Like
there's a
all of them.
trios there with Red Dragon and Adam Cole, but that leaves the Young Bucks standing there without a partner.
And that's next week, right?
Hmm.
I have a feeling someone is returning next week, but that's just me getting ahead of myself. So
Yeah, yeah, we could see that. I mean, we'll have to see. I think being the Elite this week might be very important this coming
mhm.
Tuesday. So. Anyway, that was the Bucks and Brandon. They should just take Brandon up on his offer. He's a very good wrestler. He's
And
also a great third wheel.
he said he's been practicing.
Of course. And then we get Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling taking on Swerve Strickland. And Taz comments as Smart Mark comes to the ring, Smart Mark looks like Captain America threw up.
The
Which
funny part is I was like, he's dressed like Captain America.
yeah. And I couldn't disagree with Taz. They note that Keith Lee is barred from ringside.
Yeah.
And then we see Keith Lee backstage watching the TV,
Watching
but he's watching it WWE style, standing off to the side with his head turned
his
toward,
head
because
turned.
that's how people watch television, right? That's how they all watch it on WWE. They all stand to the sides, you can still see their
I
front, and they all turn sideways to look at the TV. Yeah, no. But Keith Lee does that very well. You
Yeah, he
can tell
does.
where he was trained to watch TV. So anyway, the match starts. Swerve does a good backbreaker into a clothesline on Tony. Tony comes back with a throat chop, but Swerve sends him to the outside. Sterling grabs Swerve's hair at this point, and Nese manages to slam him onto the apron and outside. So Nese beats him down out there, gets him back in the ring, tags in Mark, who comes out, kicks Swerve a couple times in the corner, then runs back and tags Nese in again. Swerve fights out of the corner, but Nese reverses it into a head kick and a near fall. Then Nese puts some body scissors on him, and man, do we get a long rest hold for the rest of the commercial break. I mean, the entire rest. We come back, and the crowd, like when it comes back from the picture in picture and we get sound back, the crowd is chanting something, and I couldn't catch it. Did you
Yeah,
catch it? It was
no, I
"We
don't.
want something." No,
Yeah, I
we
heard we want
don't.
something, and I was like, what? Maybe they were chanting we want Sterling, right? And half of them are saying no, we don't.
Maybe. I don't know. I could not make it out. So I honestly don't know what they were chanting. I'm curious to find out what it was. But yeah, they were, "We want something. No, we don't." Um, Sterling then gets accidentally tagged in. Swerve decked, and then Nese stays in the ring trying to keep Swerve away from getting anywhere near Sterling, but then Swerve decks Nese, diving uppercut. He gets Nese to the apron, a kick to the head, and then a double foot stomp to the floor from the apron, which basically eliminates Nese out of the match. It was something else. Then Swerve gets in the ring with Sterling, kick to the side of the head, 1, 2, 3.
I love that kick to the side of the head, man. That the way he does it, it looks like he connects so hard with that.
Yep.
And yeah, you know what? Swerve Strickland is such a good wrestler. Like I didn't know. Remember when they brought him out at that pay-per-view and they're like, "Oh, we got a big signing," and it's Swerve Strickland, and both of us were like, "What? Like
Why
this
do
is
I
the big
care?
announcement?"
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Khan, you were right. This guy's really really good. Holy crap,
Yep.
he's really like sometimes Tony, I do have to apologize because I do, react on emotion like most people, and I'm like, who the heck is this? I've never seen this person before, but great signing. Like I love like the fact that they kept it to Nese versus Swerve. They can go. But obviously Swerve is just some of the things he was doing. I was like, what in the heck? How are you doing this? Like you're like a Dante Martin, but a little bit bigger. You know what I mean? Like with a little bit more mass on you. And yeah, it was fun. It was quick. It didn't outlast its welcome. Like they were in and out. It's like yeah, they went through a commercial break, but who cared? And I think yeah, it was good. But you knew something was going to happen, right? I thought it was for something like someone's going to come out and attack Swerve at the end of the match, and
Right.
then Lee would come out, but
then we get Lee out on the stage with Josh Woods standing over him. So somehow Josh Woods not only beat down Keith Lee, but apparently brought him out or jumped him when he came out to the edge, but we never saw that.
Yeah,
Because all we see is the prone body of Keith Lee out on the stage and Josh Woods standing over him, and we're told
oh no
Sterling's.
I don't think it was on the stage. I think it was still in the back room. Like
Are
he
you
was
sure?
knocked
Does it
out.
look like? Are you sure?
Yeah, because what happens is because they're like, oh my god, they're like, we don't think Swerve's realized, and when he actually looks at the
Oh, was it on the
jumbotron.
jumbotron? Okay, I don't
Yeah,
know why I
yeah,
thought it was on the stage then. Okay,
yeah,
well, fine. In the back then,
yeah,
we see Josh Woods. I was wondering how the heck did
yeah.
Josh Woods
He
drag
didn't
Keith
drag him
Lee
out.
out to
No,
the stage? Keith Lee's a big guy, and I know Josh Woods isn't weak, but man, deadlifting Keith Lee for that distance? Okay, I'm glad to hear they didn't do that. So Josh Woods was standing over Keith Lee in the back. Sterling's apparently been scouting Woods, and
Mhm.
when Swerve is distracted this way, Nese blindsides Swerve. Josh Woods, Ring of Honor guy. He's been with Ring of Honor since 2016, but he was in NXT from 2014 to 2016. You know, right in the time I was seriously watching NXT. I have no idea who Josh Woods is. I don't remember him at all in NXT. I just saw him here. I'm like, who the heck is that? No, Josh Woods. I'm like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, I mean, Swerve and Lee, they need some opponents to fight right now, right? So why not? If it's going to be Nese and Woods, right? It's not Xavier Woods, I guess. Let them have their little battle they're going to have right now. I know you're thinking that AEW is like they have tons and tons of tag teams that they can fight.
And ones with a real win-loss record,
Yeah,
and these are the
exactly.
tag champs. I mean, wouldn't even Private Party be more deserving of a title shot at this
Yes, they
point?
would. They
And
would.
would that not be an
That'd
interesting
be a better
match?
match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Who knows? Hey, you know what? Who knows what's gonna happen?
yeah. Tony Nese and Josh Woods. Yeah,
Josh Woods.
that's like Starks and Hobbs, only 3 levels lower. It's
Yeah,
like the
very true.
bargain dollar store version of Hobbs and Starks.
Maybe they'll fight them on Dark, and we don't. Who cares? They can
Why
fight on
would the
Dark.
AEW Tag Team Champs be fighting on Dark anyway?
They've had They had the
I
championship
know,
defended on Dark.
I know. Anyway, I don't understand some of the decisions they make sometimes. But anyway, okay, fine. Woods and Nice versus. I'm sure the match will be fine. Um, but anyway, I will now distract myself with the next segment because we get the black room in the back.
Hmm.
Malachi Black says, "There's no need for this confusion, Miro. You and I both know this whole world is a giant hoax. These days, we worship people that add nothing of value. God and the devil are the same thing. This is where men like you and me come in. You call it redeeming. I call it balancing things out. You spent your life worshiping the throne. I will make it so you sit on the throne and all will kneel to you." then Brody King challenges Darby to a coffin match, and he says, "Let me know what flowers you want on your tombstone." That was just kind of an afterthought to this Malachi Black
After, yeah.
promo. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like Miro is joining the House of Black. I don't know what else is gonna happen here, because it seems like, as Malachi said, I can put you on the throne,
Mhm.
right? And that's what Miro wants. I don't know, like those two together, like think about that faction. It's Malachi Black, Brody King, um, I keep forgetting his name now, Buddy Matthews, and now Miro, along with
Julia Hart.
Julia Hart. That's a pretty cool faction they got there, right?
Yes.
So hey, Miro, they right now AEW doesn't really know what to do with you. Why not join the House of
Yeah.
Black?
I have a terrible feeling it's going to be Miro saying, "No, you know what? Really, I can put myself on the throne,
Mhm.
and that'll be the end." But my fanboy booking wants him with the House of Black.
Oh yeah.
Because how great a trios would it be if you've got like Malachi going for the championship or helping Miro get a championship while the other three guys go for the trios thing?
Trios. That's what I was just thinking, the
Yeah.
same thing.
Because I mean, they'd be pretty great trios team,
Yes, they would.
you know?
Yes, they
So, I
would.
mean, any combination of those four guys is outstanding
Exactly.
and pretty much unstoppable.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm all in on Miro with the House of Black. So let's just get this done.
Same.
Yes, and let's get the women's championship on Julia Hart, just for fun.
Hey, why not?
Yeah,
Why
sure.
not?
Speaking of Julia Hart and the
Women's.
women's championship, it's 9:30. So we have Miyu Yamashita versus Thunder Rosa. And JR, when Thunder Rosa comes out, goes, "Here comes our girl." And all I could think was, not really. But anyway, Yamashita and Thunder Rosa, they get into a great opening hold exchange, a lot of good little back and forth. But then there was a little bit of odd rope work. I don't know if it was as odd to you or not, but there was a bit of odd rope work where it looked like Rosa's timing was off, and then followed by like a slow wheelbarrow lift segment. It was the only thing I thought in the match that was off, but it just looked kind of strange to me. This was followed by a really good pinning sequence. There were definitely some fans of Yamashita there, because there was a back and forth chant at one point. Yamashita swept out the legs of Thunder Rosa on the apron, sent her out of the ring, but missed a jump on her. Thunder Rosa throws her at the ring, but Yamashita does this like kicking off reversal off the apron into a kick, and Yamashita
Mhm.
takes control in the ring after this. She puts a reverse choke on her, series of kicks, a really nice roundhouse at a seated Rosa. She puts the choke back on, takes her to the ground for a near fall, but Thunder Rosa comes back with a throat punch and a cutter, some double knees in the corner, a double stomp on the back ropes, and a Northern Lights for two. Thunder Rosa then goes to the top. Yamashita catches her with a high round kick, though, on like while she's standing on the top practically.
Mhm.
Yamashita had great reach with that leg. Thunder Rosa goes for the Cazadora, but Yamashita counts it into a deadlift German for two.
Yeah.
Yamashita missed a head kick, so Thunder Rosa goes for the Fire Thunder Driver, but it gets reversed. Yamashita gives her a skull kick for a near fall, and only because Thunder Rosa was able to grab the ropes. That was a very close near fall for Yamashita. Yamashita and Thunder Rosa exchange some roll ups. Then you get Thunder Rosa with the Asai knee. Yamashita caught the second Asai knee attempt, but Thunder Rosa gives her a roundhouse coming out of it. Fire Thunder Driver for the 3 count. And after the match, there's a big show of respect. They bow to each other, and there's a handshake.
Yeah. It was a good match. Like there was nothing like really really bad about the match. I think my problem is that um it's like I'm watching the match at half the speed playback. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like it's a fraction of the time off every single time. And that's why we're catching a lot of the misses, because it's not as fast as some of the other matches that we're watching. So if they make a mistake in those fast matches, you can't really catch it. They correct it right away. Whereas there were times where I was like, okay, do they know what they're doing when they're bouncing off the rope, or they're kind of waiting, like they're dropping, and then the person sees them drop, and then they kind of jump over. And I'm like, if this was like if a little bit faster, I wouldn't have caught it. But I'm catching these things, right?
It's not speed, that's timing.
Things timing. Okay,
It's
so
it's
then it's timing.
completely timing. It's just timing
Yeah.
because let me give you an example. Was Bret Hart the fastest wrestler in the world?
No, he was not.
Not even close, right?
No.
He didn't
Yeah.
have the speed of a Dante Martin, for example,
Yeah.
right? So he wasn't moving at 1,000 miles a minute in the ring. Did he ever look like that?
No.
No. It's not speed, it's timing.
It's a
The
timing. Yeah.
speed can help hide that. This is what you
Hide
get in
it. Yeah.
private party matches, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes their timing's a little off, their moves are a little sloppy, so the speed helps hide that because it's going so fast you don't notice it. So you're totally right. In matches like that, it hides it. But a match like this, which is more about timing spots, they were off a little bit occasionally. You're
Yeah.
right. Their chemistry, it was a solid match, but they just seemed like they were a little off in their timing and
Yeah.
stuff like that in plays like that. Opening one really caught me, right? That
Mhm.
opening
Mhm.
sequence where it was like she almost had to somersault roll into position and it almost looked like they were pausing to get people in the right place. And I'm like, oh, that was bad. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was really a timing issue. Like they just couldn't after that opening bit because they looked really good in the opening lock exchange. But then right after they did that sort of messed up timing spot, I kind of felt like there were moments right during the rest of the match where their timing was a little bit off. The
Yeah.
kicks and stuff looked great. The moves looked good, but there were timing issues for sure.
Yeah. Agreed.
And
Agreed.
this isn't the first time I've seen this in a Thunder Rosa match. I mean, I know she's good, but I don't think she's elite good.
No,
You know,
I would have to agree with you on that. A lot with her matches that it's good, just not to that level.
right?
But when she is to that level, it's like she's fighting people like Britt. So
Hmm.
you're wondering who's actually carrying those matches, right?
Right.
And I'm telling you, last week the women's match when I was gonna say Amber Moon, but when what is she
Athena.
was Athena was facing off against Hogan at the
Hmm.
beginning, their exchange was fantastic. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, these guys can actually go because they fought each other before and they know the timing. They're really good. So that's why I saw that on a match that wasn't even a title match. And I saw this and I'm like, oh, we're just
Yeah.
missing something,
Right.
right?
And here's another example for you. How fast is Serena Deeb? She's
She's
not
not
Dante
fast.
Martin, no.
No,
Does
no,
she ever mess up timing like that?
no, she does not.
No, that's my point, right?
Yeah.
There's something a little off with their technical skill. I mean, I haven't seen enough Yamashita to know exactly how good she is. She comes with high praise, right?
Mhm.
So is the common denominator here Thunder Rosa? I'm not sure because her matches, she seldom has a match I go, wow, that was amazing,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Seldom, very seldom. And it's usually with a partner that makes it amazing, like you said. So I don't know. You're not selling me, Thunder Rosa. You're not selling me.
Yep. Agreed.
You know who sells a lot of stuff?
Who?
Excalibur. So he inhales. Two things came out of this. One, the Undisputed Elite are back. I didn't care about any other match he was announcing at
True.
that point. I'm like, the Undisputed Elite are back.
Yep. Undisputedly, and you saw everyone on that picture.
Well,
Everyone, Adam Cole, O'Reilly,
except for
Fish.
one.
Well, and the Bucks, and had
Yes.
everyone there, and the whole thing that they're back, and I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
okay, something's happening next
And
week.
as excited as I was, they then announced AEW in Toronto, and I basically blew a gasket.
Yep, yep. I
Yeah.
messaged you. I'm like, oh my
Yes,
god,
I know. I
AEW
know.
is
It was
coming to
like,
Toronto.
holy crap. Oh my God. Tickets are on sale Friday, August the 26th.
Done,
I have typed this in
done,
my notes because I'm
done.
like, I am not missing this. We
Nope.
are going to go see AEW.
Yes, we are.
Yep. So that brings us to our main event of the evening. Daniel Garcia, representing the Jericho Appreciation Society, versus a returning Bryan Danielson of the Blackpool Combat Club. And we have Chris Jericho on commentary, and he immediately emphasizes Bryan Danielson's coming back too early.
Mm-hmm.
He's too caught up in his own thing. He's coming back too early. So, but we get the situation. Danielson jumps Daniel Garcia before the bell. He just takes it to him, kicks in the corner, kicks, followed by a drop kick, uppercuts, dumps Daniel Garcia out, tope suicida. I mean, this was
Yeah,
non-stop. He just
yeah.
went ballistic. The crowd goes nuts with a welcome back chant. Danielson doesn't stop there. He throws Garcia into the ring post, back into the ring, but Garcia manages to catch him in the ropes and starts giving him some elbows, But Danielson no-sells it, smashes Garcia with a bunch of rights. Garcia uppercuts, elbow to the head, gets a neck breaker on him. It's tough to get it on, but he manages for a 1 count.
Yep.
So Garcia tosses Danielson out of the ring again, throws him into the rail, and this is where he pulls up the mat on the outside, exposing the concrete. Danielson comes back, does some yes kicks to Garcia on the outside, followed by a drop kick into the rail. I mean, this match was non-stop at this point. Danielson gets a missile drop kick off the top rope, but this is where things change. He does the missile drop kick, and he's just lying in the ring. So this becomes the story of the match. He hit his head and he is half out. So Garcia starts to beat him down, giving him shots to the head. The crowd's booing Garcia like crazy now. Danielson starts a comeback, but then just collapses in the ring, holding his head. He rolls out of the ring, but outside the ring, Garcia just throws him into the steps, and then gives him a DDT onto the concrete. The ref runs out and goes, "What's wrong with you?" at Garcia. The ref's checking on Danielson. Garcia tries to get at him again. Ref pushes him back, but the doctor's out there now working on Danielson. This is during the commercial break. They eventually get Danielson back in the ring, but Garcia keeps working him over some more, chokes him on the ropes. He goes after the head, and the ref keeps at him too, coming in to check. But Danielson gets cut open here, so his head's bleeding now too. Danielson hits an elbow on him, or Danielson manages to hit an elbow, but then collapses again. I mean, Jericho on commentary is really hyping this all up. He was adding a lot here, talking about Danielson coming back too early. It's Garcia's night, that kind of stuff. Garcia works on the wound at this point and gets Danielson up to the top rope, bites the wound, but the superplex is actually blocked. Danielson manages to slip out, forearm hammers that just looked vicious to Garcia's back. Though at that point too, he drops. Danielson gets back up for the back superplex, but that stuns him. So, everything he's trying to do, it's like his injury is just slowing him down. Garcia, bunch of chops. Danielson tells him to bring it at this point. So these chops are like, yeah, come on. Then a bunch of strikes and kicks from Danielson to Garcia. Garcia goes down. Yes kicks, takes Garcia down and out, but Danielson goes down to his knees again. Danielson goes for head kicks, but Garcia manages to counter into the sleeper. Danielson gets to his feet, manages to get the cattle mutilation on Garcia. Tiger suplex for 2. Garcia reverses the hammer and anvil elbows into his own hammer and anvil elbows, much to the crowd's chagrin. Danielson gets to his feet, though, during it. While these hammer and anvil elbows are raining down on him, he actually gets up, reverses it into his own hammer and anvil, shoulder capture suplex for 2. Garcia counters a Busaiku knee then and gives him a suplex for 2. He goes for the sharpshooter, but he gets countered into a roll-up by Danielson for 2. Big strike exchange. Danielson hits the Busaiku knee. He goes for the label lock, but Garcia smartly rolls before it can even be applied, gets to the ropes. Danielson then a diving knee to the outside, but then a hand grabs Danielson as he's trying to get back in the ring, and the ref doesn't see this, so it slows Danielson down enough that Garcia recovers in the ring, gives him the pile driver, puts the sharpshooter on Danielson, cranks it back, and Bryan Danielson passes out, giving Garcia the victory. And then Jake Hager comes out from under the ring, comes in, and holds up Garcia's hand as we go off the air.
Yeah, I was shocked. Like, hey, I've always said, Daniel Garcia needs to be pushed to the moon. He just beats Bryan Danielson. Bryan effing Danielson. Now, obviously, there was some interference, right? For the most part, brief interference, right? Like, you have to remember that Danielson went for that drop kick or that kick off the top rope and then just lay there. At that point, I thought he was hurt for real. I was like, wait a minute. The ref's checking on him and he doesn't look like he's good, right? I was waiting for that X to go up, but they sold out well. Like, he had come back way too early. He wasn't ready for this. But to have Daniel Garcia win and the way he won this match, yeah, you're right. Bryan Danielson attacked and it was nonstop attacking from the beginning. But when Garcia started getting his offense in, he was reversing everything Danielson was throwing at him, everything. And I was like, holy crap, this is an actual fight I'm watching here, right?
Yep.
And that's what changed my mind about no match of the night and everything like that. I was like, holy crap, like these guys, Bryan Danielson, amazing, amazing. We know Daniel Garcia is amazing as well, but what I saw today was the potential of Daniel Garcia. Like this guy is so good. So like he is the next Bryan Danielson. Like there's no confusing anything there. That's who he is. And watching them go at it, there were times I'm like, yeah, you look like Bryan Danielson. Like everything you're doing just looks exactly like Bryan Danielson. You look like a skinnier version of him at the moment, but man, do you look so much like him, right?
Yeah.
I thought it did its job. It was so good. And now I'm like, what's gonna happen next? Bryan Danielson on his big match, his big return match, just lost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's happening next, to be honest with you.
Well, first off, this match, holy heck. I mean, I don't care how good Dante Martin and Sammy Guevara was. I don't care how good Moxley and Roosh were.
Roosh.
Holy, this match. I mean, anyone who hasn't seen it, for the love of God, go find it and watch it. Because not only will you get some of the best striking I've seen in a match between these two guys, the hits were insane. These guys went at each other.
Yep.
The moves, the reversals, but that's not enough for me to call something an amazing match. That's just a series of good moves. The story in this match was incredible and so well told. I mean, you're right. It got me too. I'm like, Danielson's lying in the ring.
Yeah, is he hurt?
Oh my God. And but then the minute Garcia started working on his head, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
this is the story. I'm good. Okay,
yeah.
This is just this. But my God, did Danielson sell that injury through the whole match? Beautifully done. But I don't think this hurts Danielson at all. Yeah, he lost this match. But he's going to be able to say, there was outside interference. By the same token, he can also say, listen, it's on me. I came back too soon. I still wasn't quite as ready as I should have been. But man, he gave it every ounce of his being, right? I mean, it was, fighting back and fighting back and fighting back. He really played I'm injured, but I am not taking this lying down. I'm not quitting. I'm taking it to him. I'm just going to keep going. It was phenomenal. I can't stress enough how good this match was, right? This would be in probably my top 5 matches I've seen on Dynamite this year, easily, maybe top 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
I can't disagree. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. As I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this match. The storytelling was great. I just don't know where they go from here. Will there be a Danielson versus Garcia round 2 at the pay-per-view? Like, so. Is that what they're gonna do? Which might be what they're gonna do, right? So I'm very excited to see what's happening next. And yeah, this was a great Dynamite. Like, end to end, this was a great Dynamite.
Yeah. Overall, this was a really, really good Dynamite. I enjoyed it from start to finish. Even the matches where I'm like, well, there's a little stuff. I still enjoyed Thunder Rosa versus Yamashita. I even enjoyed Danhausen and Starks. I didn't mind that at all. I enjoyed Swerve and Nese, right? I mean, it was every match was good. There wasn't a promo where I went, wow, that really sucked. Right? It was all good. So yeah, this was a 2 thumbs up Dynamite for me.
Yep.
Not to mention the fact AEW is coming to Toronto on October 12th.
I know. I think we're just running on that high right now that that was the biggest pop of the night for me when I saw. I'm like,
I know, me too.
Does that say Toronto there?
Toronto. Yep. Their first trip to Canada, they're coming here. Of course they are.
Of course they are.
Yep. But I think it's pretty much that time. That wraps up Dynamite. But before we go, it is time for our one phrase that summarizes the evening.
After the last match and being shocked the way I was shocked today, I'm going to say my phrase is expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected. This is true. There was a lot of unexpected stuff on tonight's. My phrase of the evening, October 12th, Toronto, AEW Dynamite.
We will be there.
We will be there. But that's a few months from now. And for now, as the Great One always says, goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.